Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Miss Jenna here with you again. I'm a graduate student at the University of Cincinnati. Okay, it is Friday, July 17th, 2020. It is 12:30 p.m. and we are here with our second story of the day and our last day of the week. So after this session, we won't see you again until next Monday. Okay, today we are going to talk about making inferences. Do you know what that means? Have you ever heard of that before? What does it mean to make an inference or to infer something? So I have my board here. Inferencing means using context clues from a story or a text to guess what is going to happen next. So if you've ever read a story where one page will tell you what's going on, but it doesn't tell you what happens next, you use your brain to think with what the information that they have given you, what could possibly happen next. So that's what we're going to do in today's story. Each page that we read, we're going to stop and we're going to look at the pictures and we're going to think about what we read and we're going to guess what's going to happen next. And then at the end, we're going to do a small activity that has to do with inferencing some more. So you'll get lots of practice. So for our story today, we have Down on the Farm with Grover, featuring Jim Henson's Sesame Street Muppets. Have you ever seen the Muppets? Well, if you have, they are going to be in our story today. So our title, like I said, is Down on the Farm with Grover. This is Grover. It is written by Ray Sifford. Ray Sifford. That is our author, which means he wrote the words in the story. And it is illustrated by Eleanor Mill. Right there. What does illustrated mean? Do you remember? So we have our author who wrote the words in the story, and then we have our illustrator who drew the pictures. Yep. And then on the spine of the book, Down on the Farm with Grover, the Sesame Street Book Club. And then on the back, let's see what it says. This educational book was created in cooperation with the Children's Television Workshop, producers of Sesame Street. Children do not have to watch the television show to benefit from this book. Workshop revenues from this product will be used to help support the CTW educational projects. Okay, let's open our book. Ooh, look at all the pictures. Do you recognize these characters? I see Big Bird. Down on the Farm with Grover. Okay. Before we read this page, what do you think is going on? What's happening in this page? It looks like Big Bird is talking to these friends right here, and he's pointing back at something. Who do you think he's pointing at? Or what do you think he's pointing at? And you see all these friends back here, and they're looking this way, kind of talking to each other. So what do you think's going on? Let's read and see if we can guess. One spring day, everybody was surprised to see Grover coming down Sesame Street wearing overalls and a big straw hat. "Hello, everybody," called Grover. "Guess what I'm gonna be? A farmer." Oh, so there's Grover in his overalls and straw hat. Do you think they're all looking at him? I think so. "My uncle wants me to take care of his farm this weekend while he is away. Do you know how to be a farmer, Grover?" asked Bert. "Oh, I'm sure that being a farmer is easy," he answered. "I, lovable, furry old Grover, can do it." And he waved goodbye. So, how do you think all these people are feeling about him being a farmer? Do you think they believe he can do it? Look at their faces. I infer that they are unsure if he knows how to be a farmer. When Grover arrived at his uncle's farm, he saw a farmhouse and a big barn with animals in the barnyard. He saw the fruit trees. His uncle also showed him the fields where vegetables grew every year. "There are so many things a farmer has to do," Grover's uncle told him. "I'll show you what they are." Which one do you think is Grover and which one do you think is his uncle? Do you think this is Grover? Or do you think this is Grover? I think that this is Grover and this is Grover's uncle. And I'm thinking that because his uncle has a white beard and Grover has no beard at all. So this must mean that he is older. Now, let's infer, why do we think that he is carrying a wagon of books and a stool and a tennis racket and a radio? Why would he be bringing his stuff to the farm? Maybe it's because he's moving there for the summer. And he's bringing all of the things that he wants to keep with him. What's going on here? What do you think they're doing? What do we think is in their bag? Yeah, it looks like they're throwing feed out to the chickens. So maybe that's where they hold the food and then they toss it out. And then down here, it looks like they're gathering some hay for the horses and cow. First, Grover's uncle showed him how to give feed to the chickens and ducks. That's what we said. And hay to the cows and horses. We were right again. Then Grover's uncle showed him how to milk a cow. There's his uncle milking the cow. Now, why do you think that they have to milk cows? Maybe that's where the milk that they drink come from. Maybe they don't buy their milk at the grocery store. Maybe they have it directly from the cow. Taking care of animals is only part of a farmer's job, Grover's uncle told him. There's also farm machinery to run, like this tractor and plow. After you've plowed the furrows in the field, you can plant the seeds that will grow into vegetables such as corn and potatoes and string beans. Why do you think they want to grow all those foods? They could just go to the store and buy some, couldn't they? Maybe that's what farmers do. They grow their own food and they milk their own cows. Let's see. Finally, after Grover's uncle had shown Grover all the chores to do on the farm, he drove away. "Now I am Grover the farmer," thought Grover as he waved goodbye to his uncle. What do you think is going to happen when his uncle leaves? Do you think he's going to be able to take care of the farm? Let's see. The next morning, it was time to feed the animals again. Wait a minute, said Grover. I bet these cute little animals are tired of all that old hay and oats. I'll fix them something special and delicious. So Grover cooked his own favorite foods for the animals to eat. Oh no. Do you think that's going to be good or bad? Let's see what he's making. Looks like he's got some bread right here. He's got some grated cheese, a sausage, an onion, ice cream, water, pizza, canned tomatoes. It looks like he's making burgers to put on his buns. And then right here, what do you think that is? You think that's hay? No, it's probably spaghetti. Look, there's the spaghetti box right there. How do you think this is going to go? Do you think the animals are going to like the food? Do you think it's going to be good for them? Do you think it's going to hurt their bellies? Let's see. Grover took the food to the barn. Hello, everybody. Here is your breakfast, he called to the animals. I made you some of my favorite things, hamburgers and pizza and milkshakes and spaghetti and ice cream. Grover was surprised that none of the animals wanted the food he had cooked. Is that what you guessed? Did you infer that the animals wouldn't like the food? If you did, you were right. And you made that inference based on the book and based on what you know about animals already, didn't you? Then Grover tried to milk the cow. Oh my goodness, he said. I wonder why there's no milk coming out. Uh-oh, why do you think there's no milk coming out? Do you have an inference for that? I'm going to infer that there's no milk coming out because he's not doing it right. Maybe he's not doing the right technique. Next, he tried to clean the pig pen. Oh, this is very messy, said Grover. Oops, he tripped over the bucket and fell headfirst into the mud. Splat! Being a farmer is harder than I thought. There he is. He fell over into the mud. The pigs don't seem to mind, though. However, Grover the farmer was not discouraged, so that means he did not give up. He climbed up on the tractor and began to plow the field, but he couldn't remember how to stop. Aye! Cried Grover as he crashed into the chicken coop. Oh no, he's not doing such a great job right now, is he? So he fell off and crashed into the chicken coop. Why do you think he couldn't remember how to stop? And why do you think he's getting everything wrong? I infer that everything is going wrong because he didn't get enough time to practice and remember everything. Maybe he thought it would be easier than it actually is. Finally, Grover began to plant. These tiny seeds will grow into squash and corn and beans and peas and tomatoes, he said. Isn't that wonderful? What do you think's going to happen? Do you think he's going to successfully plant all the seeds and grow fruit and vegetables? Hello, birdies, Grover called to a flock of birds flying above him. The birds flew down onto the field and began eating the seeds that Grover had planted. Oh no! Is that what you thought would happen? I couldn't have even inferred that one. So all of his seeds got ate up by the birds. So Grover had to plant seeds all over again. At last, thought Grover, the crops are planted and nothing else can go wrong. What did he put up? Yeah, scarecrows to scare all the birds away so they wouldn't eat his seeds. All at once it began to rain. It rained and rained and rained. When the rain stopped, the wind began to blow. It blew and blew and blew. Oh my goodness. What do you think is going to happen next? Let's see. Grover looked at what the rain and wind had done to the farm. Being a farmer is much harder than I thought, he said. Oh no, what happened? Is this what you inferred would happen? The wind came and blew everything away. As the sky cleared, Grover looked up and saw all his friends from Sesame Street hurrying towards him. Oh no, said Grover. Here comes everybody. What will my friends say when they see this mess? Oh, I am so embarrassed. So Grover saw all his friends walking up to the house. And he says, oh no, I don't want them to see this mess. And he feels so embarrassed. What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think they're going to laugh at him and make fun of him and make him feel bad about himself? Or do you think that they're going to come and help him? I think if they are true friends, they're going to come and help him. Look, what's happening? Based on the picture, what do you think is happening? Yeah, it looks like they're helping. But Grover's friends pitched right in to help him. And by the time Grover's uncle came home to the farm, everything was all fixed and the chores were almost done. How nice. Look, the chickens and ducks are eating. The cows and horses are being fed. The pigs are eating, and it looks like their cage is all clean. Oh, and Bert and Ernie are back here, and they're planting seeds. How nice. Is that what you thought would happen? And when fall came, the Sesame Street gang returned to help with the harvest. They picked the fruits from the trees and the vegetables from the field. Then they loaded the fruits and vegetables onto the wagon to be taken into town and be sold. I am a good farmer after all, said Grover. Oh, I am so proud. Oh, so now he is proud. So he feels confident in himself as a farmer with the help from his friends. Remember, before he was feeling embarrassed and down, and now he's feeling proud. The end. All right. I hope you all liked this story, learning about Grover and his adventures on the farm. And you all did so good inferencing and guessing what was going to happen next. So now I have a couple paragraphs to read to you. And I want you to listen really closely to the paragraph, and then we're going to inference afterwards. Okay? So the first one says, a woman finished reading a story and closed the book. About 20 children got up from the carpet and went to a corner of the room. They began taking coats and hats off the hooks, put the coats and hats on, and lined up. So my question for you is, where are the children going and how do you know? So they were with a teacher and they were reading a book. The teacher closed the book. The children went to the corners of the rooms, put on their hats and coats, and lined up. So they were reading, and then they finished reading, and they lined up to go where? There's lots of possibilities, but I'm going to infer that they are lining up to go outside. Maybe they're going to recess, because they have their hats and coats that they're putting on, but it didn't say that they took their backpacks. And usually you take your backpack to go home, don't you? So I'm going to infer that they're going outside to either walk around or for recess. What do you think? All right. And the second paragraph says, a boy asked his mother for help getting some things off of a shelf. She took down some jars and brushes, and the boy brought them to the kitchen table. Next, he went to his mother's desk and took out a blank sheet of paper. He put the piece of paper on the kitchen table. Finally, the boy filled a cup of water and sat down at the table with all of these things. What do you think the boy is doing? And how do you know? So it says he asked his mother for some help getting things off of his shelf. So she brought down the jars of brushes, and he took them to the kitchen table. They took out a blank sheet of paper and put the paper on the table. And then finally, the boy filled a cup of water and sat down with all of these things. Does it sound like he is about to do homework? Maybe. Maybe he's doing some kind of art homework. But I'm going to infer that he is going to paint a picture because he has jars, maybe filled with paint. He has paper, he has paintbrushes, and he has a cup of water to clean off of his paintbrush whenever he gets done with the color. Yeah. All right, here's the last one. A class of students walked with their teacher to a special room in their school. They sat down, and a woman came out to read a story to them. After she read them the story, the children began looking around at the shelves of books. Each student chose one book. The children lined up, and the woman scanned their books using a special computer. When everyone was finished, the children left with their teacher, and the woman stayed in the room. What is the woman's job, and how do you know? So all of the children in the room lined up to get their books scanned, and then lined up with their teacher and left. What do you think the woman does? Do you think she's a PE teacher? No. Where do you go to get books in school? Do you go to the cafeteria? No. Yeah, you go to the library. And who works in the library? The librarian, right. So they probably went to the librarian's desk, handed her the book, let her scan it, and then lined up to go back to their classroom. I think you're right. Good job, guys. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed our story today, learning about Grover down on the farm and all of his friends and how he tried to be a farmer, but then who came to help him at the end. Do you remember? Yeah, all of his friends from Sesame Street. They came to help him, and they said whenever the farmer got back, everything was done and taken care of because his helped. All right. Thank you all for coming today. I hope you have a great weekend and a great rest of your day. We will be back on Monday at 10:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m., and I hope to see you there. Thank you again for joining me, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can keep up with our live videos for the rest of our summer storybook series. All right, guys, see you on Monday. Bye-bye.